Salutations, people of the internet, welcome to the database. For the first season throughout the summer, I covered the Genesis era of Sonic games. In season 2, I covered Kirby games, and now in this season, it makes sense that I would cover my third top favorite platforming franchise in the gaming industry, Super Mario. For this year, all summer long, I'll be covering as many Mario games as I can, and maybe throw in some surprises along the way. The last time I covered a 2D Mario game was with the original Super Mario Bros. On the NES. It was here that I also covered its pain in the ass sequel that tries to be hard, but for the wrong reasons. But did you know there were two versions of Super Mario Bros. 2? The one that I covered in that video was known as the Lost Levels, but it's actually known as Super Mario Bros. 2 over in Japan. But the version of Mario 2 that we got over here in the US is a reskin of a game exclusive to Japan. The Super Mario Bros. 2 here in the US is based on a Japanese exclusive game, Doki Doki Panic, a game that shared the same levels and enemies from one another. The only reason why we were given this Doki Doki reskin was because the Lost Levels game was too difficult for Western audiences. Well gee, I wonder why. While it may be a reskin of a different game, this game helped introduce some of the characters that will become staples in the Mario universe, from your Shy Guy to your promiscuous Birdo, who may or may not be a lady guy. That's pretty much it for its game's backstory, aside from a drastic change in gameplay style compared to its predecessor and successor games. But was this alternative change necessary to keep the popularity of Mario going? Well, what do you think? This is the American version of Super Mario Bros. 2, Doki Doki Panic. Not much of a story in this game. In fact, getting this over with, if you're a 2D Mario game, don't expect to have a grand story at all, as most of the 2D Mario games are fun platformers in its purest form. Running, jumping, and coin collecting are some of the fundamentals of a 2D Mario game. As for Mario 2's story, let's just say that Mario falls down a door into a world of Subcon, and goes and stops this giant frog named Wart, King Wart, who's also the main villain of the original Doki Doki Panic. And as a villain, he's pretty forgettable because he only appears in this one game and nowhere else. After beating the evil frog of Wartwood, after beating the King Wart of Frogs, our heroes would wake up from the Dreamland of Subcon. As it turns out that their whole adventure took place in a dream sequence, meaning that none of the stuff we've been through ever happened. This is gonna be a short video, I know it. As a Mario game, this game feels very different from all the rest, as none of the elements in this game translate from future Mario titles. Like, instead of side-scrolling side to side to kick off your adventure, you're instead falling off from the sky.
This looks neat. I wonder
To attack enemies rather than jumping on their head, you carry them and throw them at other enemies. But if you come across an enemy you can't carry, you have these turnips of different sizes. Some have faces on them. You can enter jars as if they were warp pipes, some even containing keys in order to progress, while you have these masks that chase after you. And sometimes you can pull freaking bombs on the ground that immediately detonate, and potions that lead you to shadow realms that give you coins and one-ups. Okay, so the fact that this game being a dream kinda makes sense when I say that. What do these coins do anyway? Well, you can use these coins to earn extra lives. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I really don't know what you guys want me to say about this game. The best part that I do like in Super Mario Bros. 2 is that you can switch between characters after completing a level. That way you're not stuck with one character after beating the final boss. If you think Luigi and his jump height is good for one particular level, nothing's stopping you from changing as him. If you want to play it safe, not risking to fall into any bottomless pit, switch to Peach. It's a small detail, but it's something that I really appreciate. So, my quick and final conclusion to Super Mario Bros. 2, aka the reskin of Doki Doki Panic, is a C. a very forgettable entry when it comes to all the other 2D Super Mario Bros. Platforms. And it's why in the next 2D Mario game, they went back to what worked before, just adding in new features and such, making Super Mario Bros. 3 the true successor of the 1985 classic. The only positive I can say when it comes to the game are the unique gameplay styles of all 4 playable characters. The fact that Nintendo can distinguish our cast of characters by just giving each of them unique traits to make them stand out is genius. Mario being the all-arounder, Luigi having traction but great height, Peach can float in midair, and Toad being the fastest among all of them. And it's the same kind of traits that we would see later in future Mario platformers. So I'm a bit disappointed when it comes to Super Mario Bros. 2, but that just means I'm more excited to talk about Super Mario Bros. 3 when I review that game next. And yes, reviewing all these classic platformers will make sense in a bit. So what are your thoughts on Super Mario Bros. 2, the United States edition? Did you enjoy the game as much as I have? Let me know in the comments. And no, I don't feel like looking over the 16-bit version of the game from the Super Mario Bros. All-Stars collection on the Super Nintendo. That game really wasn't it for me. I'm Christopher James, and I'll see you guys next time.
はい、いらっしゃい、レッドスネークカモン。はい、どうした？大根が出て、お前がなんでそっちにいんだよ。この野郎、邪魔な野郎で。お前笑ってるやつあるか、本当にもう。大根引き抜いちゃうから。抜く、担ぐ、投げる。正統派アクションゲーム、夢工場、ドキドキパニック。7月10日発売。